Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, everybody? Well, thanks for tuning into the video podcast today. You know how I like to get my video started always with a moment of silence, followed by a serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So, if you would, a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Man, today's been okay. Another day sober, so that's pretty good. Everything's going all right, I guess. I took a little bit of a break from the time that I did my last video podcast till today. I've been kind of busy. I have a few things going on in my, daily, life that, I needed to take care of some things. But, nonetheless, things are looking good, man. Good news for me. I finally got my place, man. I've been waiting to get set up in my new apartment, and finally that day came, and my daughter's moving in with me, so she's really excited about that. So it's things are looking great. You know what I mean? That was one of the things that I wanted to I wanted to talk on. The topic I wanted to talk about today is the fact that in our journey of in our journey of recovery and positivity, we get there through our own choices, and however you do that is going to determine the longevity of your recovery and how soon you can get there. You know what I mean? So, there's things that will come up in your daily life that will keep your wheels spinning if you let it. You know what I mean? And things that will deter you from the positive lifestyle if you let it. And that all depends on you. Just like myself, if I had not decided that I was just going to put nothing but positive boundaries and positive thinking into my daily life and exclude all the negativity, and be serious about it, you know what I mean? Because I had to choose from a lifestyle that I was used to. In other words, I had to choose from being in the world of addiction and being in the world of, homelessness and just the negativity that world brings to you. If I decided that I was just going to still linger on into that lifestyle, there's no way I'd be where I am at today. And it's scientifically proven that if you do things on the repetitive basis with whatever action it is, whether it's negative or positive, then that ultimately is going to be where you're going to go. So if I keep thinking and saying and talking and speaking negative things, then my actions in turn there are going to be exactly that, negative. So it was hard to change my thinking, my mindset from what I was used to, because I was already in that realm. I was in the dark realm. I was in the addiction, and my thinking was exactly that. Everything was always an excuse. There was always something that I was looking for to stay connected to that realm. You know what I mean? Whether it was, oh no, somebody burned me, or oh no, somebody said this, or no, I got to help somebody do that. Whatever the case was, my addictive mind always kept me in that mode of thinking that, okay, we got to navigate our way so that we can continue to use whatever that may be. You know what I mean? If you're going to go out here and help these people do whatever it is that you're going to do in helping them, whether it was good or bad, just so that you can keep your at the end of that action was going to result in either getting money or getting drugs. And so, if I would have kept my mindset just in that narrow spot, then there's no way that I could broaden my horizon, broaden my goals, broaden my vision, broaden anything that was coming towards me, because it all would stay negative, just in that whirlwind down spiral. You know what I mean? So I had to change my mindset, and and there was some things that were hard to do because I had to give things up. I had to give things up that I was used to already. I had to give things up that I had a connection to, and and a lot of it I didn't want to. You know what I mean? It was kind of it was tough. You know what I mean? Because I honestly it got me into this depressed mode, into this anger mode, and it took me a while to get my mindset drafted into a different way. But the good news, and through experience, I'm telling you, this is that it can happen, it can change, and it just depends on how much you're willing to give it. And that goes back to the whole, being hopeful, being open-minded, and being willing to the change. Because if you're not, then nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like a guy that would come to these AA meetings down at when I was in Lifetime Recovery. His name was Greg, and he'd say, "Man, if you do nothing, then guess what? Nothing happens." And that's so true. You know what I mean? If you do nothing about your situation and you just continue to throw these negative things out there and thinking that, hey, you know what? There's no way that I'm going to stop. There's no way that I'm going to get changed. There's no way that my life is going to get any better. Why am I going through this? Why did I have to go through this stuff? If you keep all those negative things in there, then your mindset's just going to keep revolving back towards that negative stuff, and you're not going to get out of it. You know what I mean? So what you got to do is you got to start thinking positive, and doing things repetitive on a daily basis that are positive, and getting rid of things that are negative and replacing them with positive things. But you got to do this on a repetitious basis every single day, man. And I can guarantee you your life will start changing when you do that. I get up every morning and I recite the Serenity Prayer every single morning. Every single morning I cite that prayer and a few other prayers, and then I do a meditation for a few minutes, and then I do some exercises. But this is every single morning. I constantly do it because I want to wake up and I want the first thing that I do in the morning to be a positive action. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and then it becomes second nature. Then your mind changes. You'll be amazed at how your mind changes when you start doing that. And, I started doing a lot of positive things, you know what I mean? I cut down on even my diet, my exercise, all of that, my mental state. I involve, reading positive and spiritual things every single day. I'm reading positive and spiritual books, and I listen to positive spiritual and mentally awakening things, like listening to people's podcasts, listening to shamans, listening to pastors, doing all of those types of things, but on the daily basis, so that I always have some sort of positive boundary in my life. Nothing around me is negative at all. You know what I mean? So I keep it that way, because the moment that I let that negativity in is the first time that I'm going to step back into that negative realm, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. And but it was hard. It's not, I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to do, because it's not. Because it was a daily struggle. You know what I mean? Especially the first couple of months, man. I was just like, I wanted to just go back to the use. You know what I mean? Like, man, if I could, man, let me just go back for 1 day, 2 days, just to get my my high on, and then I'll be good, and then I can come back. But if I do that, then I'm not being true to myself. You know what I mean? You know, you have to be honestly true with. It's got to come through here, through your heart and your soul and your energy levels, man. They have to be freaking right on point, and so that your life starts moving a different direction. Because if you don't want it, then don't do it. You know what I mean? It's not going to help you if you're just doing it halfway, because you're ultimately going to get only halfway there. You know what I mean? And that's, you don't want to be discouraged like that. You know, so I'm telling you here through experience that if you do it all the way and jump in with 2 feet, I can guarantee you, man, you're not going to be sinking all the way down to the bottom when you jump into that pool 2 feet first. You know, eventually you're going to have to come up for some air, because things are going to get, there's going to be some turmoil in that dark, you know, deep life like that. And there was for me, you know what I mean? I decided that, you know what, I've had enough. And I my life's going nowhere. What the things that I'm doing, you know what I mean? I'm doing nothing, just, you know, walking around with a backpack and going from one motel to the next, and, you know, riding a bike from one tent to another tent, and to a bando, and under the bridge, and to the plug's house, and just doing all this ugly things that I had no business even doing. You know what I mean? I mean, because it's just when you're in that addictive state, you just do it because you're trying to feed something that you're never going to be able to feed it enough, because it's always going to ask you for more. You know what I mean? And it just keeps going. It's just it's insane. You know, that's where the insanity comes in. That you keep doing something on a repetitive basis that you know is killing you, but you keep doing it anyway. That's insane. You know what I mean? That's insanity. And you know, if you make it a point to start doing things on the positive, think positive things, say positive things, read positive things, you know, do meditations, you know, and these are things that you're going to be uncomfortable doing, but if you do them, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Then it becomes like second nature, you know what I mean? It does, it really does, man. And you know, I wake up today, man, feeling great. I really do. I mean, I wake up today and I don't have to worry about where I'm going to get my next meal from, or how I'm going to where I'm going to sleep, or what am I going to do for today. You know, I got things that I positively do. You know what I mean? And I don't care what it is, or if it's something that I'm uncomfortable doing, then I still do it, because I know that it's a positive thing, and somewhere along the line, this positive thing's going to help me. You know what I mean? And for that moment in time, it's helping me stay away from the use. You know what I mean? And that's ultimately it's not my only goal, but it's one of the goals that I have to do on the daily basis, so that I can do other things and attain other goals that I have in my life. And but it all starts here. You know what I mean? It does. It all starts with your thinking, man. And you know, just to give you a couple of ideas, stories that I experienced this past week. You know, I ride the city bus, you know, to different places, wherever I gotta go. That's how I'll get around. And man, this whole week, every time I went to the bus and there was somebody there, it was always a couple and arguing about just, I mean, talking to each other, just these ugly ways. And then I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I used to do that, and I could tell that the two people were just miserable in the way they would talk to each other. And it just reminded me of things that I used to do, things that I used to go through. And I'm like, man, how freaking awesome does it feel that I'm here and I don't have to go through those things. You know what I mean? Because I choose to take the positive way. I choose to put healthy boundaries in my life. I choose not to let anybody freaking space in my head, in my heart, and I'm just doing all these positive things that I don't have to deal with none of that. You know what I mean? And I sat there, you know, when I listened to these different people, you know, arguing and just going on, and I'm just sitting there just praying for these people. You know what I mean? I caught myself just, you know what, God, please help these people, you know? And because I've been there, you know what I mean? And I know how that feels, you know what I mean? And it just, I don't know why, but it just made me want to pray for somebody. And, you know, it was funny because I'm sitting there and this guy's getting on the bus and he's, you know, pleading his case about, you know, if they let him ride or whatever. And he sits down and he sees me and for some reason he just says, hey, how's it going? And he gives me a fist bump. He goes, man, he goes, I don't mean to bother you, but do you think you have some money for the bus? Because I just don't have it. And I was like, here, man. I give him, I said, I don't have, I said, what I do have for you is I got this bus. I had a couple of extra bus passes and I gave him one. I said, here, man, take this. And he came back, he sat with me, and he thanked me, you know what I mean? He was like, thank you, man. He goes, do you mind if we pray? And I was like, yeah, dude, let's pray. So he grabs my hand and we start praying, and he's praying for me, you know what I mean? It's like, thank you, God, for letting, you know, for me running into this guy that he, you know, hooked me up with that pass, and you know, he did his prayer, and I was grateful, you know what I mean? But to come off, to have an energy that comes off that somebody would, you know, for him, I guess it had to be me, because I had that extra pass, and you know, so I gave it up, and it's just like, you know, those types of things, even though they're so minute, I believe that it's a spiritual energy that radiates with somebody when you get connected. When you get connected with your spiritual being and the energies of the universe that you're supposed to be, you know, in line with, and the law of attraction, you know what I mean? It's a powerful thing. When you do positive things on a daily basis in your life, you'll be amazed at how positive things starts coming towards you. You know what I mean? And it's up to you to know the difference of what path to take, but because you're doing this stuff on a repetitive basis, your mind starts thinking a whole lot clearer than it used to be when you were in the world of addiction. You know what I mean? I know it has for me, because if I would have been in the world of addiction, he would have asked like I would have been, no, dude, I ain't got shit, man. Don't. You know, I would have probably gotten mad or something. You know what I mean? But because I've changed my ways of approaching life, that, you know, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I think that my spirituality and my faith-based, you know, presence that my higher power has on me is that I want to help other people however I can. And for me, it's helping people who have gone through the struggles of drug addiction and childhood traumatic experiences, PTSDs, homelessness, because I've gone through all of those things, anger, depression, sadness, and I know how it feels to feel like there's no hope, to feel like you're running around, you know, around town just you. There's all these people around you and you're just lost in your own world, and you're lonely and you're sad and you're depressed and you're like, God, why is my life like this? And all you do is think about the things that you used to do, that you used to have. You know what I mean? And that type of thinking spirals you down into it bounds you down to this world of negativity. And that's what you don't want to do. Because the more you start doing positive things, thinking positive, and engaging in your, you know, spirituality, in some type of recovery, you know what I mean? Everybody's recovery is different. You know what I mean? I personally, my part of my recovery involves going to NA meetings, going to AA meetings, going to peer support groups that I go to through the VA, going to music therapy that I go to through the VA. I go to a lot of different things like that, and I involve myself in all these positive things, and it's great. You know what I mean? So, and I do this podcast just for that reason, because it's therapy for me, it's therapeutic, and it keeps me engaged in my recovery by giving away what has helped me along the way to get to this, part of my recovery and living in this world of recovery and positivity, you know what I mean? And that's what I want to share with people, the things that have helped me and how they're helping me, and how it's engaging in my life on a daily basis. So know that it can be possible. You know what I mean? It's possible to have a better life, to look at the world a whole lot different than being in that dark realm, and it's I wish that upon nobody, that's for sure. But yeah. So anyway, I'm glad that you guys are tuning in today, and I'm glad to come back to do another video on this what's today, Friday night. You know what I mean? Friday night, and I'm sitting here doing a podcast video on addiction and recovery, and instead of being out in the world of addiction, you know what I mean? So I'm grateful, and I'm happy that I'm able to share a message with you today. And at this time, I would like to ask if you guys would please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. All you got to do is touch the subscribe button, and just know that when you do subscribe to my channel, you'll be helping out another veteran like myself, another person dealing with PTSDs, childhood traumatic experiences, drug addiction, depression, anger, sadness, all those types of things. And the more that people subscribe to my channel and help me spread that message, the more people that we can save, because it's a problem out there, you know what I mean? Especially right now, and it's cold outside, and I've been there, homeless and addicted, and just being out there and in the struggle, and I'm just here to let you know that there is a way out. So if you please, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And I guess until the next time, when the smoke clears, we'll see you, I guess, next week. I got a few things that I want to really get into, but I'll elaborate on that another day. But anyway, thank you again for watching my channel. I appreciate it. I guess until the next time, when the smoke clears, I am the Recovery Plug.